We are coming back online for another weather update. It has been a violent and destructive evening in some parts of the valley.
Yeah, let's get straight to meteorologist Lindsay Riley. And Lindsay, what are you seeing on the radar right now?
Still remaining a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do want to give a recap of what happened earlier. A confirmed microburst happened at 43rd Avenue and Van Buren earlier. Wind gusts between about 70 and 75 miles per hour. That was confirmed by the National Weather Service, and it happened at about 9 p.m. tonight. And we have seen widespread damage to buildings, trees, power lines out in the West Valley. And that's also right now where we're seeing 2 additional severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see them extending from Avondale out toward Buckeye. So extremely dangerous conditions right now out across I-10 in the West Valley. What we've been seeing with a lot of these thunderstorms, in addition to the microburst, is damaging straight line winds. And so that's what we're seeing with these severe storms as they push southward toward I-10 at about 15 miles per hour. And those wind gusts could reach about 60 miles per hour, which could produce additional damage out in the West Valley. Now here in downtown area, we're just looking at some light rain. It is not severe. Now we also have been tracking a very strong storm out toward the Gilbert area. They did have a warning on that about 30 minutes ago, but that warning has expired. So that storm now falling below severe limits, crossing Queen Creek and about to move into Santan Valley. Still could see 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts with that. So it's still going to be a very strong storm, torrential rain, and that also is moving southward. So if you live out towards Santan Valley, be prepared for some very gusty winds on the order of 40 to 50 miles per hour and torrential rain. Back to these severe storms. Again, West Valley right now, that's where we're seeing the strongest weather in the valley. You can see from Avondale crossing the 303 and actually extending west of Buckeye. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning just west of Buckeye. Some of these storms have also produced some small hail. We have gotten reports of penny-sized hail, but the main threat tonight has been the damaging winds and the 1 microburst that we did see. Again, storm movement is to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So pretty much the whole I-10 corridor in the West Valley is looking at strong to severe storms with 60 mile per hour wind gusts, which could cause some additional damage. We did have 1 strong cell over the Estrellas. That has diminished. Some light rain residual here in the valley and at least downtown Phoenix. We're actually seeing the strongest weather right now in the valley itself. Outside of the valley, weather is starting to quiet down a bit. Nothing severe out across Pinal County down toward Casa Grande and Florence at the time, but those storms are moving that way, and we could have some additional storms till about 1 to 2 a.m. So for the next 2 to 3 hours, we could be seeing some rough weather in the valley. We're also tracking some light rain around the Prescott area, but northern Arizona seeing very quiet conditions. We're turning right back to the radar of downtown and the valley right now. Again, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings extending from Avondale west, all the way west of Buckeye, with damaging wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. Those storms are crossing I-10, moving southward through western Maricopa County, so they eventually will make their way closer to Gila Bend and the I-8 with damaging winds as a possibility. Just some light rain in downtown Phoenix, and another cell that's crossed Queen Creek but has now fallen below severe limits, and that is moving towards Santan Valley with 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. So this is the latest radar. This is the most active radar in the entire state right now. And these storms will continue pushing south through western Maricopa County, and a few of them making their way into Pinal County. So you can see south of Wickenburg down to about Buckeye. That's where the strongest storms are. And then further east and north, we're looking at pretty quiet conditions. As far as our hour by hour is concerned, again, till about 1 to 2 a.m., that's when these showers showers and storms will stick around after 1 to 2 a.m. Mainly dry conditions through the morning drive. A lot of dry time through the midday hours tomorrow, and then we'll start to see some additional storm chances tomorrow night. Our futurecast, there's those storms moving south of the Phoenix metro into western Maricopa and Pinal counties. Here's a look at 11:30, the approximate placement of those storms at 11:30. And then as we get into the overnight 3:30, a little bit of light rain possible down toward Pima County. But generally speaking, things will quiet down by about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll be just left with a few clouds at that point and then dry weather to get our day started tomorrow. It's still going to be muggy and we still have additional storm chances. In fact, a 40% chance for additional storms in the Phoenix area on Thursday, late afternoon, early evening, 20% then on Friday, and then we do dry things out as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Even the high country, we're looking at about a 60% chance, 60% coverage on Thursday, and then we'll also see a drying trend heading into the weekend. Caribe?
All right, Lindsay, thank you. We want to circle back to that microburst that Lindsay told us happened earlier around 9 o'clock, has been confirmed now by the National Weather Service with gusts between about 70 and 75 miles per hour. We're going to head out live to that location where that microburst happened. Chase Golightly is at the scene of a partial building collapse. And to make things worse, they tell us that one person might be trapped inside. Chase, this whole building could collapse at any moment.
Caribe, that's the big concern right now, and that's why we're this far away from the building. But I want to give you a brand new look at that partial collapse right here. We are on the north side of the warehouse where you can see nearly the entire side has collapsed. It's fallen into itself. And what we heard from firefighters earlier is that it's this north side, it's the roof is collapsed, and they're also saying the other sides of the building are starting to fold in. Again, they say there's a real possibility that this entire building with collapse. And of course, the huge concern is workers saying that there's still someone inside. There's still a worker that's unaccounted for. But just given how dangerous the situation is, firefighters can't rush in to try to find them, given the real possibility that this entire building will collapse. We can even, from our vantage point, we can see water running from the inside. We are also seeing plenty of firefighter crews and rescue crews just outside, possibly waiting for that opportunity to enter. And it's just a very active situation here. Anything can happen. And it's, again, just a big concern. But I do want to bring in Phoenix Fire Department Captain Todd Keller to kind of describe about the situation. Captain Keller, we spoke to you maybe about 30 minutes ago. Any new updates in regards to this situation and trying to find the person who may be inside?
So right now, like we said before, our urban search and rescue teams here with our dog Moxie, they are setting up a plan, a coordinated plan to safely let that dog inside and search for that employee that they are saying is unaccounted for. We do have our drone team here right now, so they're going to get an aerial view and kind of relate that back to command of what it looks like from about 40 to 50 feet up.
And then just from our vantage point, I mean, of course, it looks like an absolute mess, but do we know how many people were evacuated? Do we know at this time how many people were inside when all this happened?
We do not have that number. Immediately when they said that one person was unaccounted for, I can tell you that immediately we just started setting up. We dispatched multiple units. We actually have 4 cities here. We probably have close to 60 to 70 firefighters.
Wow. And just, given just all this damage and everything, do we know what was in the warehouse, what the purpose of this was or anything like that?
So talking to employees right now, they say that this is a distribution center, so it's a storage facility for canned goods, all sorts. I said a lot of vegetable cans or that house vegetables, but they were saying that there is nothing hazardous inside. So we do have a hazmat crew here along with multiple technical rescue members.
Gotcha. And does that, even though we are thinking that there is a real possibility that this will collapse, is it just one of those situations where you guys just have to wait until that happens before we can go in? Or is there a possibility that it might stabilize in itself somehow and you guys can come in? What's kind of your thought process on how do we move forward from this to try to get that person out?
So right now we are working a plan to safely get that dog inside. We did have personnel go inside, evaluate it. As soon as they saw that the structural integrity was compromised, we immediately backed out. We got people out of the collapse zone. So our collapse zone is 1.5 times the height of the structure, so it's about a 30-foot. So we want to get people 45 feet away on that south side. So right now they're just formulating a plan to get that dog, our dog Moxie, from the urban search and rescue, and try to locate that employee.
Definitely. And like we were saying, just such strong winds happening in this area. When we were coming in, we saw plenty of down trees. I mean, there's so many down trees just around here. You and I were talking about earlier, you guys are getting so many calls right now of people going through so much. Can you tell us about some of the other situations that are going on that Phoenix Fire Department are responding to at this time?
So when storms hit like this and these microbursts hit, we get a lot of fire alarm indications. We get a lot of down power lines. Keeps our crews busy. Right now we do have a house fire that's in south around Dobbins and 19th Avenue. Lightning strikes, all kinds of stuff like this. This is obviously a significant scenario because we have a roof collapse with a commercial structure and one person unaccounted for.
Definitely just a scary situation. I understand Mark Curtis has a question for you, Mark. You can go ahead and I will relay it to Captain Keller here.
Chase, I just want to drill a little bit deeper on the term unaccounted for. Did someone see someone trapped in there, or is this person unaccounted for in the broadest sense of the word, and maybe they made it out but just haven't reported in?
Gotcha. So Mark was asking you to just kind of detail a little bit more about unaccounted for. Does that mean that people saw the worker inside and it collapsed? Does that mean that, hey, they just haven't heard from him? Can you go into more detail of what exactly we mean by unaccounted for?
Yeah, absolutely. So immediately when we evacuated the structure, crews started talking to personnel on scene, and they said that there was an employee in there that was working on a forklift that did not exit the building. Now, this is per employees right now, so we're going off of what they're saying. Now, we got to mitigate this danger. Obviously, this is a huge commercial structure. These other three walls can collapse. But to answer Mark's question, right now is that unaccounted for means to us is that there is one person that is trapped inside, and that's why we have had our urban search and rescue team dispatched to the scene with our dog Moxie.
Well, definitely, we're just hoping for the best situation for your firefighters to be able to get in there, and also the best for that worker that's still in there. Just hoping for the best in this just incredible, dangerous and scary situation. Captain Keller, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And again, just looking at this severe damage here, again, what we just heard from the fire captain is that they say someone's trapped in there. That's what they heard from workers over here. And again, because of the possibility of this collapsing in on itself, they can't go in. They're waiting for the opportunity to send in rescuers. Their rescue dog Moxie, as we heard Captain Keller say, to be able to go inside and try to find the person. Hopefully they're okay, given the entire situation. But I also want to go ahead and hear from an employee that we spoke to literally maybe 20 minutes after we were called out to the scene. We were able to speak to one of the employees that was inside, describing what they heard and what they saw when the storm hit. And just tell me what happened.
Well, the wind started building up, and next thing you know, pallets were flying around, and a big bang, and everything started collapsing. The walls, the ceiling came in. Water just started pouring in. The wind got real hard, and we all got into one room and stayed there.
And then, so like all this mess that we're seeing here in the parking lot, that's all from this storm tonight?
Yes.
And again, it's not just this area that we're seeing the significant damage. Across the way at another warehouse, we saw what appeared to be a massive 20-foot door that appeared to be ripped off from its hinges. We also saw that for some reason the fire alarm was going off and those fire sprinklers were going and almost flooding the inside of that. And it really does just look like a hurricane moved through the area, and explaining just the situation and this massive damage done here. Again, it appears that we are seeing other rescue crews with their helmets and gear on just approaching. It looks like they might be trying to make entry point in this area right here. Maybe that's the area where that worker is. Again, I'm not trying to speculate too much on the situation, but we just know the priority is for fire crews and rescuers to get inside the building safely and try to find that person. Of course, we'll be staying out here all night, keeping an eye on the situation, waiting for updates from the Phoenix Fire Department about that one worker that, again, employees said is trapped in there. And now they're trying to get that person out, but just given the situation, they can't go in right now. We will stay out here and keep you updated, but for now, we're going to head and send it back to you guys in studio.
All right. Chase Golightly live at 43rd Avenue and Van Buren. Chase, thanks. Glad you're safe. Our best thoughts to that worker that apparently is trapped inside that building after a microburst that